You say I'm live. You say I'm live. Oh, goodness. We're going to try that again. We're going to try it again. Now we're on my phone. Welcome back. I am trying to pull this up on my laptop, though, so I can keep up with your comments. But we're on my phone now, so we shouldn't have crazy screen anymore. Just a minute. Let me get my laptop set up here. And then I want to tell you where I'm at. Let me turn this volume down real quick.
These are words to work.
Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Hey, that's actually a good picture. You know, the last time I went live on my phone, I was having a real issue with it. The picture looking like crap. That's actually why I haven't gone live again, because I was so frustrated with how that was looking the last time. Let me actually, hold on just a second, guys. I'll be right with y'all. Let me switch cords here. Let's get you plugged in with this cord. I'm doing a cord swap. Hang on, guys. I'll make sure I don't lose you because my batteries go dead. Let's get you plugged in here. All right, so that's a good sign, yes. All right, dash camera, let's plug you up. Excuse me. So we're going to operate the camera normally. There we go with that. I'm going to work on figuring out why that glitched tonight. I think partially it might be because I'm on a laptop. And if I brought my better laptop, I bet it would work better. I just have a sneaking suspicion. But you know what? I can actually do some testing on this without going live. You know what I mean? I can actually, on my end, do like a simulated live without actually bothering y'all with the live, so that you don't get the notifications. Okay, so let's talk. Where am I? What am I looking at? So, let me, excuse me. I might have to have a swig of water here. Let me back up and rearrange, and I'll show you where I'm at. So remember what I told you. We are on the rock and roll highway. US 67 used to be right there in front of you. That's the old highway, but the really old highway is in front of me, and you can see it. So I'm going to show you this because it's actually worthy of mention. So before, there's actually been, I guess, three alignments, if that makes sense. This was the original, built in the 20s. So this concrete you're looking at right here that I'm sitting on was built in the 1920s as part of the Arkansas Highway Plan of 1926. Remember, I told you I'm a historian. It's just something that I've always been interested in, is history. So this was an original road in Arkansas, and that's why it's so narrow and it's old, and you know, and this goes on for about 10 miles or so. It goes south to Alicia and the bottom of Lawrence County before you cross into Jackson County. And then they recognized that they needed to widen this road. So where you see that pickup truck that just drove by, that's the second alignment. It's wider. And then, of course, now they've added the new US 67, which is interstate style, and it's about, oh, I don't know, a mile away from here if we were going east. So the point of me showing you this is that I'm sitting on the original road from the 20s, and there is still a 7 to 10 mile stretch of this road. It's actually, if I'm not mistaken, if somebody in Northeast Arkansas can clarify this for me just to make sure I'm telling you the truth here, I think they designated this stretch as a historical place. It's actually on the historical registry, this original road that I'm sitting on right now. So you just think about all the traffic that this road's incurred over the almost nearly 100 years. And then the traffic that used to be on this other alignment before they opened up the new interstate style. Now, you might ask yourself, well, why am I talking so much about this road? Well, let me tell you why. Because the likes of Johnny Cash and Elvis Presley and others used to travel this road, and they used to play and frequent the bars along this stretch all the way from Walnut Ridge south to I'd say, if my history's correct, it was the stretch between Newport and Walnut Ridge, because Jackson County was notorious. It's always been wet, like a wet county for alcohol. Lawrence County is dry, but there were roadside bars in Jackson County near Newport, which is 40 miles south of my location. And so when you think about this old highway out here, think about Johnny Cash, think about Elvis Presley, think about all the other country stars, probably Waylon Jennings, several others, too many to name. They've been out here, and that's why this is called the Rock and Roll Highway. It's, again, they have renamed the new stretch the Rock and Roll Highway, but if you were trying to chase the spirit of Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash, you would come on this road right here. What happened? Did I lose everybody again? I got to make sure I didn't lose y'all. I lost the laptop. I think it's just because I lost the laptop. Turn them bright lights off. Okay. Well, that sucks. So I lost the laptop, so I can't see your comments as good. I'll check them as I can. And we're going to get out of here and head to Jonesboro, and I'm going to turn this radio on, and we're going to monitor some radio traffic and see if we can't see a thing or two. But first, before we do that, since I am going to have to use my phone to live stream tonight, which I was hoping I wouldn't, I have a pair of socks, clean pair, mind you. These are clean socks. These were the socks I was handing out to the homeless. And I discovered the last time I live streamed that if I put a roll of socks underneath my phone, just like that, it stabilizes it pretty well. Now, while I'm pulled over, let me see if I can pull your I got to switch. You're going to have to bear with me for 1 second. I got to go off of this screen for a second to turn back my Wi-Fi on. Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, so yeah, I agree with you on the socks are always handy. They really are. All right, yes, on the laptop. I got the laptop bag so I can see y'all's comments better. That really helps. Okay, good. Now we got everything in order now. Guys, gals, again, yes, I'm a content. I'm also an amateur when it comes to live streaming and figuring it all out. So I appreciate your patience. I don't like having to pull over every block to try to adjust things, and I just sometimes wish things would just work out, but that's not how it always goes. So I see that we got a clear picture, and I see that there are some comments. Let me adjust this up a little bit before we get on the main highway. Yeah, here we go. So I've been monitoring the state police today. Earlier today, there was a vehicle fire on Arkansas 1 near Poinsett County, north of Harrisburg, that I will be requesting that video. You'll be seeing that probably by next week. So we are on our way to Jonesboro. Now, from Walnut Ridge and Hoxie, Jonesboro is the next county over. Actually, Walnut Ridge and Hoxie is located in Lawrence County. Lawrence County is actually an ASB Troop B as in boy, based out of Newport. But what's interesting about Troop B and C is that Lawrence County is surrounded by Troop C. To the north, it's Randolph County, which is Troop C. Greene County to the east. Craighead County to the southeast. So, even though Lawrence County is part of Troop B, it's interesting because you almost feel like you're more connected with Troop C up here than you are Troop B. Not to offend anybody that any of the troopers that work this county, they may disagree with that, but looks like we've got a good picture, and I see your comments, so that's a good thing. And for the ones just joining us after some technical difficulties and user difficulties, let's just say that, what we are doing tonight is we're in the northeast corner of Arkansas, currently on US 63, and I'm heading to Jonesboro from Walnut Ridge. We are monitoring the Jonesboro Police Dispatch as well as Arkansas State Police Troop C out of Jonesboro, since we're heading that way. Yeah, I know it's a little blurry. I would much rather use the dash camera if I can figure out how to make it not glitch. So hopefully this will be the last time I have to use the cell phone. So the drive to Jonesboro is not long. It's about 20 minutes. I do this stretch so much that it doesn't even seem like it's 20 minutes. And there's good cell service in between here in Jonesboro, so we should be good on that. Take advantage of this red light to grab my water. There we go. All right, we're going to set the cruise control and let the car do its thing here. They're kind of quiet on the radio right now. I've got a good signal. I'm well within range, so they're not talking much right now. Some interesting calls that I've monitored and listened to. They had a robbery in Jonesboro yesterday at Plato's Closet on Fair Park Boulevard. Two male subjects went into the store and robbed them, got into a gray vehicle and took off. They got a license plate number. And I heard Jonesboro Police Department put out a dispatch or a broadcast on that vehicle. And something that's been interesting about listening to Jonesboro lately is the amount of thefts that they have. Jonesboro has a lot of theft problems, apparently. You know, if you look on the map of Arkansas, if you look in the northeast up here where Jonesboro's at, you'll see that it's about 90 miles from Memphis. And 90 miles isn't that far for a theft crew to come out of Memphis and roll up here and do their bad deeds and then head back home. So Jonesboro's got a lot of retail establishments. You know, Jonesboro's got 83,000 people. It's the 5th largest city in the state of Arkansas, first of all. So there's you know, every restaurant, there's a lot of retail up here, a lot of retail establishments, and they get hit, unfortunately, quite often.
E Street.
So it was cool earlier because it was snowing. I actually was trying to go live before the snow ended, but it snowed up here for about an hour. Now, of course, it's too warm and it's still 35 degrees right now, but earlier it snowed. It was a wet snow. As I said, melting on impact, so there is no impact, if you will. That was pretty cool to see some snow up here. I know that northwest Arkansas, Fayetteville, Rogers, Bentonville, Lowell, Johnson, Tontitown, all that up in there, they got hit with some snow. I don't think that it accumulated too much. It got hit with some, though. I saw those posted on some weather sites that I'm a member of.
Go ahead.
You don't check the number plate.
Go ahead.
913-860.
I'm going to skip that channel because I don't want to hear returns. I want to hear dispatch. Little town of Sedgwick in far eastern Lawrence County. This is the last little community before you cross over into Greene and Craighead. It's only Greene County for a second. Just long enough for them to have a liquor store.
Okay.
So I was listening to the old scanner waves a little bit ago before going live, and I heard one of my favorite troopers working tonight out in Troop C. Now, I mean, you know, I do these videos enough. I don't want to sit here and say I've got the last time we've actually talked about this, I do have some favorites because I feel like there's some troopers out here that really do a good job. And it shows in the kind of interactions that I'm able to bring you. There's not very, first of all, I want this to be clear, you know, that you have to understand that there's always going to be a bad egg in anything, in any job, and, you know, everybody's not going to be perfect, okay? So there's always going to be a bad egg or somebody that maybe needs some help or some training or whatever, you know. In my experiences in law enforcement when I was a jailer and a dispatcher, I can certainly tell you that was true. However, state police tends to hire some of the best, so you don't have too many of them. That's like I said, there's not really, hardly, I can't think of really, but only one or two of them that I would even mention that I don't particularly care for, and I'm not going to tell you who those one or two are. I'll just leave it at that. Because but one of my favorite troopers is working tonight in Craighead County. So if anybody, especially troopers or law enforcement in the northeast corner of Arkansas, are watching right now, first of all, I'd like to say hello to you. Hello, Leos and first responders. But I'll be on the prowl for one of my favorite troopers tonight. I'm looking for you. I wonder how many diehard, loyal NST fans in here right now could even guess who I'm talking about. And I'll tell you what would be a good clue is how many times I featured that person. And you know where I'm at. Jonesboro, Craighead County, Troop C. So go back and think about how many times I've featured particular troopers in Troop C. I bet you can figure it out. So, I am coming into the little town of Bono. Bono is an old railroad town out here in the farmland. It's got the BNSF railroad that runs parallel to town all the way through it. Bono is known for some great sunsets as I come through here. I've taken pictures through this stretch before. They're also known for their traffic enforcement on US 63. So it's not uncommon to see their police unit sitting on the side of the road running radar all the time. Like right there, like I just passed him, like right there, I wasn't even kidding. He was on the left. Told you. You know, some things just never change. It's predictable. So once we get past Bono, we're going to be coming into the area around Jonesboro. So we're really going to monitor this radio and see what we have going on. It's been raining up here all day, so the fields out here are flooded. They look like lakes. You can see the reflection in on the drive up here on both sides of the road. So yes, NST is currently 10-8 in Craighead County, Troop C. And we're going to drive around and see if we can listen for some hot activity. Now, I do want to mention to y'all that I am working on a pursuit that's not going to happen on Friday. This is a continuation of a pursuit that dropped last Friday.
That's we living out with the man at the EP solution on your way.
But I've been holding on to it because I'm gathering up more footage to put with it. So when I get done with it, it's going to be epic. If you like the one that had the fentanyl from 2 weeks ago, the stolen vehicle fentanyl, Trooper Cavness and LRPD, if you like that one particular pursuit, how I got Little Rock footage and put it together with state, this is going to be another one of those deals, except it's going to involve 3 different agencies. So if the other guys, if they feature it, they're not going to feature all of it. So if you watch it ahead of time, have an open mind and come back and watch mine, because I'm going to put a lot more to it than what they're going to feature. So I should release that tomorrow. I already got it, but I'm working on it. It's so big I can't get it done tonight, so I just gave up and did a live instead. I'll work on it all day tomorrow and get it released for you so we can watch it. We'll premiere it tomorrow sometime. So if anybody's confused about my role in this whole scheme of why we're live, I am not a trooper. I am not an officer. I am not proclaiming to be one. I am a citizen who has a police scanner and a YouTube channel. I have prior law enforcement experience, but I never was a cop on the street. I used to be a jailer. I've worked for the Arkansas State Police as a civilian, and I worked for the Little Rock Police Department as a 911 call taker and dispatcher. So I have related experience, but I never was on the street. And it's basically, this is just a hobby for me, to what I call going scanner chasing and just trying to see something out here. Been doing it since I was a teenager. So, you know, if you find it interesting, you know, great. I'm I'm glad you're here. Otherwise, yeah, that's the deal. So. We have entered Jonesboro. I'm on the west side of town right now. We're going to try to get towards the middle. I'll be able to check your comments in just a moment. I'll be able to check them when I pull off. And oh, by the way, I've got to make a stop at the gas station because I need a cup of coffee. So that's priority one, is obtaining a cup of Joe before it gets too late.
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
I don't know. Should I get a gas station coffee, or should I be bougie and go to Starbucks? What's the consensus there? Does anybody even care about my coffee? I can't do a mobile order on my phone for Starbucks because my phone is being used to live stream this right now. I wonder if I guess that narrows it down, right?
133 to 152.
Okay, so let's talk about Jonesboro real quick. Jonesboro call signs are in the 100s. I haven't been able to listen long enough to figure out who's supervisor and who's officer and that kind of stuff, but the 100s. So we're listening to 100 call signs. If you're listening, of course, to the state police, we're going to be listening to C call signs. So while you're monitoring the radio with me, if you hear the 100 call signs, that's Jonesboro. And again, Troop C is C call signs. C and a number. Cool on the subscriber. Thank you for subscribing. I saw that pop up on the phone. Yay. Please do. We're glad you're here. We want you to be a part of the community. And you just are, let me tell you something, new subscriber. You're my 99,900 and something. Or 100 and something. I'm within 1,000 of crossing the finish line to 100,000 and beyond. And I couldn't be any more happy and proud of this channel for my viewers, my wonderful viewers and subscribers that have brought me to that place. I will be doing something special for you this week whenever I cross that magic number. So the one channel I'm not monitoring, and I wish I had turned this on before I left, was Jonesboro Fire. but we are monitoring police. Yeah, it's funny. I get down here to Jonesboro and the radio goes dead. They're not doing too much right now. It was busier earlier for sure. So I'm on Southwest Drive right now. If I stayed on Southwest Drive, this would take you to the old part of Jonesboro where the 100-year-old homes are, and the Craighead County Library is over there. And I frequent the Craighead County Library. I like going there. It's a nice place to get a study room and do research and just use the laptop, and your tax dollars pay for it, so thank you. All right, guys and gals, I gotta stop it. I'm gonna get bougie coffee tonight. Let me get the bougie coffee. We'll get that going.
Hi, welcome to Starbucks. What can I get started for you?
Hey, good evening. I'd like to get a venti Pike Place with extra half and half. So regular and an extra. That's all.
So are we doing two?
Nah, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm just wanting extra instead of just a regular shot of.
I gotcha.
Just an extra shot. Yeah.
All right, that'll be $3.59.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
$3.59 for a cup of coffee. Is it reasonable or is it not? Most of y'all probably say no. If I did a vote right now. But I have you know, I don't do Starbucks as much as I used to. Let me get that window clear for you there. Sorry about that. I used to do Starbucks almost every day, but I probably do Starbucks now about once every 2 weeks. Actually, I really don't come here much as I used to. My coffee place is McDonald's. Now, I'm totally guilty about getting a McDonald's cup of coffee. I don't know what they put in their coffee at McDonald's, but they do it right. And I can't really find that coffee anywhere else that's quite as good as McDonald's, even Starbucks. So McDonald's, there's a lot of things you do wrong, but you do that right. You nailed it on the coffee. Hello from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hello. Glad you're here, Oklahomans. I'm not sure how you say that. We call Arkansans, so I don't know how you say Okies. Probably Okies. Big shout out to the viewers in our neighboring states of Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Missouri, and Oklahoma. Glad you're tuning in. You know, you guys are the ones that just amaze me sometimes, and I mean all the viewers amaze me, but we have such a large fan base from just the neighboring states. Tennessee, I'm mailing not postcards, the bumper stickers. I mail them all over the place, but golly, like Tennessee and Texas, and I meant to mention Texas. Sorry about that. Of course, Texas. How could we forget you, Texas? You're too big to forget. Hi.
It's going to be $3.59.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. Yeah. There you go. Yep.
Oh, we took it out a little bit too early.
Oh, my bad. Here you go. Let's try that again.
It'll be back to when it's ready.
Okay. Cool.
All right, it'll be just a second. Our coffee's finishing up early.
Oh, worry. Thank you. I get fresh brewed coffee. It hadn't been sitting for hours. There you go. I don't get the mud. Let me clear that off for you. Sorry about that. All right, well, while we're sitting here, let's pull the laptop up and look at some comments real quick. Well, hello, Sheridan, Grant County. That's just south of Pulaski County. Grant County, Arkansas is a nice place. I like to go down there to the Yellow Jacket, smack dab in the middle of Sheridan. The Yellow Jacket has good food and good ice cream. And hello, Conway. I see you there. South Memphis Bro 27 from Conway. We will be doing a live in Conway at some point. I've alluded to doing that in the past, and Conway's on my list for sure.
1804 Hillcrest, they're gonna be in school.
I see we got Paul from Northeast Arkansas.
10-4 it is.
So we got a fellow resident watching right now. Farting Duck, you couldn't have been any more accurate on that, McCrack. McDonald's coffee is McCrack. It is. It's my McCrack. It just is. I'm glad you're here with us, James. I'm glad that you found us 3 months ago, and I'm glad you're hooked. I really am. We've got a lot of content to watch, and we're getting close to having 900 videos up right now. So at this point, I know some of my viewers go on binges. They literally tell me they've been on an NST binge all week or all day, and they can't get any work done at their house. I hear that all the time, and it cracks me up because, you know, it's interesting. I have the same problem, except I'm the one making the videos. So I have the same problem sometimes. September Virgo, you're always a sweetheart. Thanks for being here tonight. Helpless Garage, glad you're here from Cabot, Walnut County.
Is that for you?
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, well, we got it under control. That's all the comments I can look at right now. I can still see most of your comments because I've got them pulled up here. And hey, Patty, I'm glad you liked that Troop H video. You know what? I really like I like doing that kind of stuff. You know, the truth is, let's talk about the content creator for just a moment here. Now, the eyes behind the screen, okay? I get weekly pursuits in from state police. And sometimes these pursuits, when you've seen a pursuit, it's the same pursuit over and over again. I mean, you know, I could roll my eyes and say, how many times, you know, every week you're going to see one in Little Rock and in West Memphis, right? And sometimes I get bored with them, honestly, if we're being honest, because it's the same thing. Some of these pursuits are so wild and they have so much action that I can't even hardly compose myself long enough to get it made and released, because I'm so excited about bringing it to you. And that's just something that you would have to be in the room with me when I get these videos in for, and I lay eyes on it for the very first time, and I get so excited about making a good video and trying to get it out there as soon as I can. That's why Pursuit Fridays are so important to me. You know, I love getting those pursuits and getting them made, and you just start happening. You just notice that I'm rapid fire releasing them because I'm trying to get them out there to you. But I'll tell you what really tickles my fancy more than doing police or pursuit videos, well, unless it's a wild video, you know, is bringing you a good story. That's equally as important to me as bringing you a wild pursuit. I'm just as I get just the same amount of satisfaction, if not more, from bringing you a traffic stop where there was a good interaction between the trooper and the person in contact that he or she was in contact with, you know, and like Feel Good Sunday, I look forward to that. I look forward to going through all the traffic stop videos that I request and finding and picking out the ones that are, in my opinion, gold, and then bringing them to you on Sunday while everybody's relaxed and enjoying the weekend. I get just as much satisfaction doing that as I do a wild chase, if not more, honestly. We've talked about this before, but I think it's worthy of mentioning once again that Natural State Transparency as a channel is here to bring you a spectrum from the start to finish, alpha, omega. What do you want me to say? Just, you know, basically what I'm trying to get at is I want to show you, the viewer, things you might not ever have seen before. How many times has a YouTube channel shown you a vehicle fire on the side of the interstate and then a move over traffic stop that comes out of that? Now you tell me, which YouTube channel shows that stuff? Who? And I ask you that jokingly because I am a consumer of these videos myself, just like you are. I'm a connoisseur. I'm not only a consumer, I'm a connoisseur of these videos. And I can tell you that I've searched the interwebs and I've looked on the YouTubes and other places to try to find some of that content, and it does not exist. Very rarely can you find just regular stuff. It's always shock stuff, pursuits, or bad behavior, or, you know, drunk driver goes to jail, or, you know, something like that. It's just, you know, you don't see, you don't see a trooper out there changing a tire. You don't see, you know, a trooper giving a guy a ride to work because he's stranded on the side of the road. You just don't see that. And I think that's just as important to show you, because you need to know what these troopers and officers have to deal with. That's a daily occurrence for some of these troopers. And it's just sad they never get the light of day, because traditionally people wouldn't watch that kind of stuff, as they say. I think that's foolish. We need to be showing more of that. Okay, I'm going to post up here so I can listen to the radio. Currently on Red Wolf. I'm going to pull over here at the Target parking lot at Red Wolf, and I believe the cross street there was Highland. So I'm in the main part of Jonesboro, right over here. Well, we're going to sit over here for a minute so I can monitor your comments. We're going to listen to this radio traffic and see if we can intercept a traffic stop or something worthy of looking at. Don't turn. Don't do it yet. Thank you. We'll pull over here for a minute. Okay, I got a vote. Do an informal vote right now. I can't pull it up on my phone. So we'll do a vote. How many of y'all think JCPenney is going to go out of business in 2024? I just have to know. Do you think JCPenney is going to go out of business in 2024? Or do you think they'll survive? All right. So we're posted up here at the Turtle Creek Mall parking lot, but there is no more Turtle Creek Mall. But for you folks in the Northeast that know where I'm at, I'm in the Target JCPenney Dillard's parking lot over here. We're going to sit here for a minute and drink some coffee, read your comments, and monitor this radio, see if we can find something worthy to go look at. You know what? I got fond memories of JCPenney and Sears. My grandmother was an avid JCPenney shopper. Her mom used to work there, so my great-grandmother used to actually work at JCPenney's in the 40s. And it's just sad because JCPenney's is financially, they're having some serious financial issues right now for sure. This Christmas did not help them out at all. I went into Penny's. Which one did I go in? This one's actually good here. I went into this one. It's fully stocked. I went into a Penny's. Where was I at? I guess it was North Little Rock. At McCain Mall. Was that there? Yeah, it was McCain Mall, North Little Rock. Yeah. Just around Christmas time. This was like early December. And their store looked horrible. I mean, gaping open holes of shelving where there was no merchandise, and just it looked thinned out. If any of you guys used to shop at Sears and you remember what Sears looked like about a year or two before they closed down, that's what the Penny's in North Little Rock looked like. I was shocked. Now this one up here, on the other hand, it's good to go, but I do miss those Sears, and I hate that they met their demise with some bad management. I used to work at Sears. That was one of my little jobs that I had when I was about 19 years old. I worked in the sporting goods and back then they had a plumbing department. Actually had a department that sold water heaters and water softening systems for your rural customers that live out where they have to have, probably on well water, they put those water softener systems in. And I used to sell all that stuff on commission. Guys, I made $3.50 an hour plus commission, and there were some days that I wasn't ringing up anything. But I was 19, so, Scanner is dead quiet right now. I've got it turned up. We are monitoring. I've got full signal on both of the channels. So we're just kind of waiting on the local law enforcement in the area to get busy. But you also have to understand it's Monday night. Traditionally, this is the slowest night of the week. Sunday and Monday night are typically slow. Macy's, I hadn't really shopped at Macy's all that much because they never had a Arkansas presence. So at least in central Arkansas, I can't say, I don't think there is a Macy's. Anybody from northwest Arkansas that's live right now, is there a Macy's in northwest Arkansas? Because I don't think there is. I know there's a Belk in Rogers. I've been to it. But Macy's had a presence in Memphis. And so anytime I'd go to Memphis earlier in life, I've been to Macy's a time or two, and I just recently went to Macy's and actually caught some pretty decent sales. But you know what? They're rumored to be dying too. They're not doing too well. Yeah, I was a big Craftsman fan too. Craftsman was that was the brand, that and Kenmore. If you wanted reliable. Yeah, I remember Woolworths. Now, I'm a little too young for Woolworths, but I do remember, and you know there was another one called Weingartner's. Do y'all remember that one? And they closed down, but you know what's interesting is they still own a realty company because I guess of the locations of their stores. I see Weingartner Realty sometimes. Well, you know, I hate that because as time has gone on in the retail market, I like competition. I mean, Kmart, I see Kmart's been mentioned a few times in here too. Kmart was oh man, I tell you, they had one up here in Jonesboro. I worked at Kmart. I worked at Sears and Kmart. And as a matter of fact, an interesting story about working for Kmart at the time, this was in the early 2000s. And Kmart had a store here in Jonesboro. They had a store here in Jonesboro. They had one in Pine Bluff. They had one in Hot Springs, Little Rock, Jacksonville, Russellville, and Cabot. There's probably a couple of more that I left out of that. But I worked most of those stores because when I got my job at Kmart at the time, there was a CEO by the name of Chuck Connolly or Conway or Chuck Conaway, maybe. I'm probably butchering his name. He's been the one that's been blamed for decimating Kmart and running it in the ground. But anyway, that dude at the time came out with the blue light special again. This was like the revamp of the blue light special. And so what they were doing was they were going into different Kmart stores in the region here in Arkansas and remodeling the pantry department, which was groceries, and adding the blue light special component and all of that. And so what they did was they assembled a team of roving sales staff from every store in Arkansas, and they joined a team, and the team would go to a store for a week and work, and they would put us up in a hotel room and give us a stipend for meals. And the whole point was that we would go for a week to, say, because I went to Hot Springs, I know for sure, and they put us up in the hotel for the week, and we would go every day and do the reset. So I got to meet other employees that worked at Kmart. And it's interesting. I don't mean to overshadow the conversation with death, but, speaking of Hot Springs Kmart in particular, that night, I went out with the guy, he lives there, or he lived there, unfortunately he passed away. And the night before he died, him and I got together after work, and we went and ate. And he was telling me about the area, and the next morning on his way into work, he crashed out. He fell asleep at the wheel and crashed out on a county road in Garland County, and he died and left a daughter behind. And, I'll tell you what, that was unsettling. I've never forgot that. And even now, you know, that's unsettling when you're in the vehicle with somebody the night before and you go and you have dinner with them and then they pass away the very next morning. But, you know, that's life. I mean, unfortunately, that's life. But it was sad. Hey, Gina, I see you. I see you, Gina. Glad you're here. Well, this scanner, it's almost like, it's literally almost like they knew I was going to go live in Northeast Arkansas, so everybody's gotten quiet. Because, I mean, there's just nothing going on. Okay, so the scanner I'm using is the Uniden SDS 200. That's Sam David Sam 200. And I have a Baofeng antenna hooked to it, which has a magnetic base that is on the back of the car. And I've got 5 of 5 bars because I'm in Jonesboro and I'm hooked into the Jonesboro repeater. So it's not a reception issue for sure. It's a Monday night issue. That's what it is. But I will tell you, I've enjoyed having these scanners. I bought a second one, so I've got 2 scanners now. If any of you guys are familiar with the website Broadcastify, especially the app, you can use it. If you have a laptop, you can go to broadcastify.com and you can search the local feeds from across the world and listen in. You can also download the app, the Broadcastify app, on your phone, and then you can listen in. Now, that's, of course, provisional to who is streaming what. And what do I mean by that? Well, this is the deal. It takes somebody like me that lives in an area that intercepts the signal and then uploads it to Broadcastify for the world to listen to. Well, I happen to be one of those people. So that's why I have 2 scanners now. And probably next month I'm going to buy a 3rd one so I can have a portable scanner instead of this base unit. So I monitor, or I'm sorry, it's not that I monitor, it's that I host. I'm a feed provider on Broadcastify to 2 different channels. It took me a while to figure it out, how to narrow down the channels to. There are 93 tower sites in the AWIN, Arkansas Wireless Information Network, which is the radio system that dominates public safety agencies here in Arkansas. But there's 93 tower sites. Of course, one is called Jonesboro because it's located in Jonesboro, and that's the one we're tapped into right now. This scanner has gotten way too quiet. I'm gonna make sure that I didn't accidentally skip channel 1 on Jonesboro PD. Make sure I didn't just accidentally skip it or something. But I don't get paid to be a feed provider on Broadcastify. I get a premium subscription with the app. That's the only reward I get for being a host.
139 and 125.
No, it just was slow. This is Jonesboro right here.
100 Christie, apartment H32. We had a call by a subject advising that they were being threatened over the phone, and then someone else took the phone and said that there was not a problem and not to send the police out. And hung the phone up. Address also has a warning on it advising the female this location is 47.
Well, I don't know what the
She's definitely 47. I've dealt with her several times.
She's definitely 47. I've dealt with her several times. So I'm going to interpret that as mental. And this call, I didn't catch the address, but it's a 911 caller advising that there was a disturbance. Another male subject got on there and told the dispatcher that everything was good there and to disregard the police. That's typically entered as an unknown trouble because, again, it is an unknown trouble. You don't know what the problem is, but that's unusual for somebody to call in and request police and then immediately say, oh, never mind. So they're going to send 2 units. That's a common call. So we've learned something new tonight. Jonesboro uses 47 as their mental code for subject that has mental problems or something. Hey, we learn together, right? Isn't that the whole point of being live? We're learning together, right? Now, I am currently on Caraway. I'm going to take you down Phillips. I will tell you, I told the last time we did a live, we came through here. This is Hotel Row over here, Hotel Row. This is also where there's a lot of action. So right in through here, you find all the different hotels. Some are better than others. It's been my experience walking or driving through here, rather, you see a lot of foot traffic in through here. A lot of people walking. You know, some folks that are living out of these hotels.
935-634-919. 935-034-919.
That's state police right there. And so, yeah, there's a lot of hotels in through here. Some are better than others. You know. Unfortunately, hotels are a magnet for transients, folks in transitional, they're in, like a transitional phase of life where they're homeless or they're, living by the day. Some ladies of the night. I would call that being in a transitional space in your life if you're resorting to prostitution to live, to support your drug habit. And if you've got kids watching right now, I'm trying to keep it as PG as I can, but that's reality, guys. And, let's not be in denial about it. There's a lot of people out here doing bad. There's a lot of drug addicted people out here, and they're not just in Jonesboro. We're talking in general. And where you find these hotels, you find a lot of that drug traffic and prostitution traffic and, trafficking, human trafficking even, in some of these places. So that fact doesn't go unnoticed by law enforcement, that's for sure. And I can tell you, based on my experiences just in coming to Jonesboro, that there are frequently fire trucks and ambulances on this stretch of Phillips between Red Wolf and Caraway working because of overdoses, people overdosing in these hotel rooms. And it's not, again, like I said, this isn't a rag on Jonesboro, because look, if you want to talk about overdose city, go to Little Rock. I can tell you all about overdoses in Little Rock all day long. Go down I-30. You notice you got an ambulance sitting right over here, right? I found you an ambulance. So remember what I just said, ambulance, hotels, they go hand in hand. I'm not making this stuff up, I promise you.
52, Jonesboro, Craighead, and Level.
Yeah, and there are some, good night, Grandma Wolf. There are some eating places right around here too. So yeah, there is some foot traffic just going to the eating spots, the restaurants. But there's also a Casey's gas station down here too. So there's folks constantly walking to the gas station to buy their cigarettes and caffeine and, you know, that kind of stuff. But I don't see any foot traffic right now. There's nobody walking around. And it's kind of chilly up here right now. Well, I said I didn't see somebody walking. There's somebody right there. Quiet on the radio. We're going to go post up in front of Troop C headquarters right over here. Temperature is currently 33 degrees. They're just a hair above freezing. Of course, the ground is warm from days of it being well over 40 degrees, so we're not in any fear of anything icing over tonight, even if it gets cold, which it won't. We had a big cold front move through, and we're on the back side of that cold front where the winds, you know, the winds as the cold front crosses into Tennessee and Kentucky, we're on the back side of it now, so we're getting the winds from it.
Dispatch.
Go ahead.
St. Bernard's ER.
2018.
An officer just checked out at the emergency room. I don't know why. I got a trooper hiding behind the building back here. He's sitting in his car. Wonder who it is. Let's see if I can see. I'm not going to pull in their parking lot. I got some police. Somebody did a traffic stop down here. It's a trooper. I didn't hear it go out. Well, he turned his lights off. Ooh, got some racers. Got some racers. 3 people hauling ass. Hauling ass, too. Excuse my language. They're 2 Mustangs and a Chrysler 300 going to Red Wolf. They were booking it down 555. In the rain, I might add. Oh, probably some old college students from the old A State. Arkansas State University is located in Jonesboro. Get a lot of youngins driving those fancy old muscle cars. We're going to post up over here and spy on the troopers and see what they're up to. Now, I told y'all this the last time, but it's been a while since I've been to Northeast Arkansas. So let me show you something interesting. For all you weed smokers out there that like to partake in the smoking of the weeds, if you're in Northeast Arkansas and you've got a card, a medical card, why, you can come to this place, and it's called Crop. And it is a big old dispensary. And it happens to be directly next door to Arkansas State Police Troop C headquarters. So, yeah, how convenient. But I will tell you that the Troop C headquarters has been here longer than this place. So they actually came here. Now, if you'll notice, there's a pair of tail lights there. If you can kind of see the charger. I zoomed in a little bit there to show you. That's the back of Troop C. What you're looking at right there is the back of Troop C. So we're going to park here. Let me get that focused in for you there. Excuse me. Oh, goodness. Pardon me. Actually, I'm going to park over here. Let me park right. We're going to pull it on around right here. Well, you know what? Everybody has their own opinion about things. And I certainly have my own opinions about some things. And look, I'll tell it to you like this. If you go and, we're talking about Arkansas here. I'm not talking about any other state. But,
Go ahead.
if you go to your doctor and your doctor thinks that you're qualified to smoke medical marijuana and you go and get a license like you're supposed to and why shouldn't you be able to? It's not my business what you do. And I'm no medical expert. Who am I to tell you what your doctor knows way more about your health than I do. So I don't find it to be offensive in any kind of way. And I certainly don't really have much of an opinion about it, honestly, because it's your business, not mine. That's your medical decision you're making for yourself, not me. So some of y'all may not agree with my position on that, and that's okay. You don't have to. But I will be so clear on something. I would much rather deal with somebody smoking marijuana than somebody that's whacked out on opiates, okay? And 25 years ago, doctors were handing out Hoxie and hydrocodone like it was candy, claiming it wouldn't get you addicted. Yeah, right. And for each person out here that's ever had an affection, it's been affected in any kind of way by opiates, I feel your pain. I'm sorry. It hits deep within my family as well. And so I'll tell you, that just is a bad deal. And I have lots of opinions about opiates and the peddling of those drugs to the masses and the family that produced those drugs that didn't really suffer any consequences for all of that. But I digress. Well, you know, if we're going to talk about opiates, came out. Well, I mean, there was always pain meds. I mean, you know, Tylenol 3 with codeine.
West Acre, 2316 West Acre. Reference to a civil matter. Caller says that his mother let a female into his house and she took his dog and gave it to someone else.
That's funny. Caller advises that the mom let a female in the house. The female stole the complainant's dog and gave it to somebody else. Okay. You hear all types on here. So anyway, back to the opiates in the 90s, you know, that there was always Tylenol number 3 and morphine, if you will. My grandmother was a registered nurse. And I can remember in her retirement years, she also was an amputee. She had her leg amputated in the late 70s due to a spider bite, and she was diabetic, so she didn't know, and it cost her her leg. So she dealt with chronic pain issues until her passing in 1996. And you know, she was on pain meds in the 80s and 90s, but it just, you know, pain meds have always been around, but it just wasn't quite like a epidemic like it still remains one now. You know, unfortunately for the addicts out here, if you can't get opiates, well, what are you going to resort to? If somebody's got heroin and it's cheaper, guess what that'll do for you? Heroin was always an East Coast drug. I mean, it may have been in other places, but it was East Coast America, United States, East Coast drug. You know, you hear about heroin overdoses in Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York, those kind of places, right? You didn't really hear about heroin overdoses in Little Rock, Arkansas until about 2010. And I can tell you, as they started making opiates harder and harder to ascertain, you know, doctors and the Food and Drug Administration were making it more and more harder for you to acquire those types of drugs legally. The black market for black tar heroin just exploded in Little Rock. And, you know, into modern day right now, still right now, even now in 2024, especially with fentanyl. Oh my God, fentanyl's the next thing. That fentanyl wasn't around in 2010 near as like it is now. My God, people are just, unfortunately, the overdoses are, you know, this is something that really does affect me personally. I've lost friends to overdoses. I have a family member that has wrestled with a opiate addiction for years. And I know that there are some people in our society that think we should just, you know, you should man up and not do drugs. I get it. I totally get it. But on the other hand, it's a medical issue. And if you become addicted to opiates, and it is such a strong addiction that it can consume your whole life, including methamphetamines the same way. It can just consume your whole life. So my heart really goes out to anybody that's got an opiate or methamphetamine addiction, and you know, I look at it from more of a medical perspective than I do a punitive perspective. And again, to each their own. You're entitled to your own opinion. I'm not going to tell you you're right or you're wrong. You can think whatever you want to think.
Called back and said the female's going to bring the dog back to him.
Oh, word. So the female's going to bring the dog back to the house, and they're canceling the police. So problem resolved. Well, what I wish we could see in our society is more emphasis placed on rehabilitation and trying to get folks off drugs with a medical perspective than anything else. And the problem is that they've got these I call them fly by the night rehabs. Come on now, these advertisements you see on TV for going to the Palm Springs rehab down in Florida, that's a joke. Or going to California or wherever you go to these you know, rehab places, and they advertise on TV. Oh, that's a a scam. That's a joke. That was milking insurance benefits that were available under Obamacare, but there was that component. I mean, not making it political. This isn't political, but under Obamacare, there was a provision where you could go get rehab. And so all of these fly-by-the-night sham crack hotel turned into a drug rehab places all over Florida and California popped up. And then, you know, that's not helping people. That's just hindering. That's literally enabling people. There were some people, they were just going for a vacation. Club rehab. Yeah, thank you, Beverly. Exactly. It's exactly what it was. And I had we're no longer connected, but I had a female friend at the time that was going through some addiction issues, and she went to one of those places in Florida, and she used to tell me about it. I was in her life to try to help her out and keep her up while she was going through some tough times. And she used to tell me just some stupid stuff that happened. And that's why I know those places are just a joke. They're a joke. Joe, I commend you for being 5 years sober, and I commend anybody in this chat that has been able to fight the demon, because that's what it is. You're fighting the demon every damn day. And I get it. And I commend you for making an effort and staying sober. And that's a tall order for a lot of folks. Okay, I'm going to pull up next to this dumpster and throw away my coffee cup, and we're going to get out of here. Ooh, there's C10's car. That Jonesboro Pursuit from last week. You see C10's blue Charger right there? The one that got screwed up, sitting behind the building. Let me get my zoom. Sorry, I'm trying to get my zoom reset there. But I'm proud of anybody that's able to get a grip and face their demon, because a drug addiction is nothing more than truly an act by the devil. I'm not trying to get religious on you, but I have my own beliefs, of course, and spirituality is a strong component in my life. And I will tell you that some of these drugs are nothing more than the devil's way of keeping you hooked in, and it's a vicious thing, truly. So anybody that's able to fight those demons and get off that crap and stay, you don't have to be perfect, but you know what? You take it a day at a time. And Joe, I know you can talk about that one. You take it a day at a time. That's how you have to do it. Every day is a victory if you can stay off that stuff. Get it under your belt. You know what, Beverly, I tell you something. I quit smoking cigarettes. I quit on December 10th of 2016. Speaking of being addicted myself, now I'm not an opiate addict, but I was addicted to nicotine. Got 2 ambulances going down here. Let's see what's going on. But I was addicted to nicotine for nearly 20 years. I smoked a pack a day of Camel Crush menthols and Newports. I was a menthol person. And, there's an occasional time that I smell a cigarette in the air and it triggers a memory and makes me want to have one. But I tell you what, one of the best things I ever did was put that crap down and walk away from it. That was one of the hardest things I ever did in my life. So if you guys are out here still smoking cigarettes and you're struggling with that, hey, more power to you if you can get off of them. As I just said, one day at a time, take it one day at a time. All right, so currently on Caraway and Highland. We're going to go down Highland. You can tell it's a Monday night in Jonesboro because there's a lot more traffic out here than there is right now. I'm going to take y'all to the downtown, the older section of Jonesboro real quick. We'll go down there and take a look. They got some neat little buildings down there I've been looking at. So Highland is like an east-west cut-through street. It's a main drag. It goes from one side of town to the other. And we're currently heading to the older part of town. We'll go look at some cool places over here. Now, I will tell you, I'm going to work on getting that camera issue resolved this week. So tomorrow, I'm going to work on, besides that one pursuit I mentioned earlier, I'm going to work on getting all the glitches out of the camera setup that I've got, because I'm going to go live in Fort Smith. I've had several requests for me to go live in Fort Smith. So, Fort Smith, Troop H, you're next. I will come over there and we will go live. The next live I do, we're going live in Fort Smith for sure. Conway, you're on my list too, but Fort Smith, you're really on my list. We're going to do you next. I am not ASP and I am not Jonesboro PD. I'm neither. And I'll tell you something else, if I were, I wouldn't be live streaming. Do you know why? Let me tell you why. Because when you're a public servant working for, you guessed it, the public, you don't have freedom of speech. Make that clear. That's why you don't see many officers out here on live streams and doing their things. Now, granted, you see Bob and Pat up in Minnesota, but he's the sheriff. He can get away with saying those things. He's a politician. But a normal beat officer, you know, like a Jonesboro PD officer or a state trooper in Troop C, they're not going to go live at all. They're not allowed to. They don't have freedom of speech. They can't say what they want to say. So, you know, the reason for that is because if they get on here and they start talking smack about something, it offends people, and it might offend a politician, and, you know, funding might get cut, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, there's fallout and ramifications for everything, right? Especially that. So, no, you're not going to see many cops, and some cops, you know, some cops like the chief of police, like Chief Bradley Taylor, he can get on live on patrol live, and you know, he's an Arkansan that's able to do it, but he's the chief of police. But you're not going to see many just beat officers that are able to go live. Their departments they forbid that. They don't want them to go live. And I think that's kind of a double-edged sword. I understand why they don't, but at the same time, I wish they did. And I can't speak for other agencies and other states. You know, you talk about what's that Deputy Frank from, what's that agency in Arizona? Frank Sleuth, I think is his name, from Pima County, Arizona, I believe. Now, you know, he gets on there and goes and does that Fridays with Frank show or whatever. He's kind of controversial a little bit. He said some things a time or two that was offensive to some folks. I'm sorry, I said Pima County. That's correct. And I don't have anything against Frank. I'm not ragging on the guy, but it's just, you know, you have to be careful. If you're law enforcement and you're doing these lives, man, you say the wrong thing, you'll offend your mayor and city council. You know the great thing about me? I don't work for an agency, so I can say whatever I choose to say, and I don't have to worry about if I offend anybody. I mean, I don't want to offend you, the viewer. You know, this is a nice, warm, friendly place to be. I want you to feel welcomed here, but I'm not going to shy away from sharing my thoughts about some things. That's for sure. I don't speak for law enforcement. I will never proclaim that I do. That's not my role either. But I speak from somebody that has dabbled in the industry for a decade and understands a thing or two about a thing or two and understands political stuff, okay? And if any law enforcement officer is in this chat right now, you know what I'm saying. You got a fine line between doing your job and pleasing the powers that are and making sure that no one is looking at you to try to take you out, or, you know, I'll just put it to you this way, guys. You think, you know, law enforcement officers, you need to understand something about that. If you think it's bad enough that law enforcement has to deal with the crap they deal with every day on the streets, imagine all the crap and the backstabbing and the name calling and the power positioning that they have to deal with by their supervisors and their own departments. That's equally as bad as dealing with the crap you deal with on the streets. So it's like a double-edged sword when you're a law enforcement officer. You have to balance the streets versus your own administration and making sure that you're not going to get hemmed up or terminated over something horrible. All right, enough of that. I'm rambling about that. Let's talk about something else. So we're down here in the main drag of Jonesboro. Right now, we are on Main Street in the old part of town. I like this particular area because it's all lit up, it's friendly, it's touristy. There are some restaurants down here. They got a really good buffet that's down here. And I tell you what, I'm actually looking at this area right in here. I might move over here. I liked it so much. I like coming down here, so I might move over here soon. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the next few months. So we're down here on Main Street in Jonesboro. I'm gonna slow roll it and let you see what all's down here. There's some nice eating spots, and it's a pretty cool little spot to hang out at. Ice cream shops. If you decide that you're gonna come and visit our great state of Arkansas, then I would hope that you would consider putting Jonesboro on your list if you're going to be up in this part of the state. Come down here and get you something good to eat. Yes, I did just say ice cream. I'm a sucker for it. I have to tell you, as I'm getting older, I'm having to be more mindful of my diet, so I can't really have it as much as I used to. But I have a weakness for ice cream, that's for sure. They have this place in Little Rock right here. What is the name of this? No, not this place. What was that? Maybe it's Paragould. I'm thinking of Paragould. I'm sorry. Oh, they got a Cregan's here. I didn't realize that. Hey, cool. All right. They got rid of the Cregan's in Little Rock, but they still got one up here. Let's talk about Cregan's. Heck yeah. I just discovered something new. So we had a Cregan's in Little Rock. Or North Little Rock, but they shut down about a year ago. It's an Irish pub. Nice little mural right there. Cool building, nice mural. But Cregan's is right here on the corner of Main, and I'm not sure what cross street I'm at, but you come to Jonesboro, get you a nice pint of some Guinness. Get you a Guinness while you're here. Unless you don't drink, and that's good. Don't drink. If you don't drink, don't drink. But if you do drink, get you a Guinness. Now, Chef's Inn Buffet. Okay, let's talk about this place. So, I featured this before in my last Northeast Arkansas live, but I've got to mention it again. This is like a shopping center. It's like a series of stores that are all combined into one now. And inside, this is like a 100-year-old building, basically. And this restaurant has the whole thing now. So you have to step down like 2 steps to go into the next dining area, and then you step down 2 more steps when you go into the next dining area. It's one of those places, right? But they've got a buffet, and they have a Sunday brunch. Ah, man, I had no idea, because again, I'm from Central Arkansas. I'm just recently up here in Northeast. I moved up here 9 months ago. I'm a lifelong Arkansan, but I'm unless you're talking the last 9 months, I'm a lifelong Central Arkansan. Lived in Pulaski, Saline, and Faulkner County my entire life until just now. Currently live in Lawrence County. Again, we're visiting Jonesboro, 25 miles away. So I just happened to I don't know much. I'm learning the area still. I'm not an expert up here in the Northeast, but I'm still learning the area, and I just happened to be driving around on a Sunday morning, and this place was open, and it had a line all the way around the building. Well, I'm going to tell you something. If a place has got a line all the way around the building, you know what that means? That means it's probably pretty good, and it did not disappoint. I can tell you right now, if you come to Jonesboro, put this place on your map, Chef's Inn Buffet. It's some real good Southern food. Highly recommend it. Cool restaurant inside too. They got some cool little knickknacks on the wall, and it's just, I don't know, it's old timey. I really like it. I'm a big fan of it. And the thing I like about Jonesboro is they don't shy away from having murals on their walls. They've got a really neat downtown area. Here's some more murals right here. I'll spin this around for you here so you can see it. Now I got a car behind me. Hang on. Let me try to show you this real quick. I'm kind of in a trafficy area. I got to be quick. Yeah, but check that out. Cool murals on the wall, right? Cool place like that. I love places that have art and just cool things to look at. See? So Jonesboro's pretty neat with that little artsy area. Yeah. They got some lofts over here. That's what I'm interested. I might try to move over here in the next few months. I'm not sure. Thinking about it. Another mural right there on the wall. Come on and pass me so I can show you. Cool mural right there. Some hexagonal shapes. You find some boutique stores down here and interior designers, and there's some financial advisors that are in this area as well. This is a nice little area to walk around in, and Jonesboro is relatively safe down in through here, as best as I can tell. So, you know, if you're looking to come to Arkansas, come visit Jonesboro for a night, get you a hotel room, and come walk this district down here, and you probably won't be disappointed. A lot of cool stuff to look at. I tell you what, I had never noticed this before, but the First Methodist Church up here is all concrete. I'll pull in here and do a spin around and show you what I mean. Look at this. This is all the First Methodist Church complex right through here, but check it out. It goes all the way down to the end of the block. And all of that's concrete. Those are concrete blocks. So I'll tell you what, if you're ever in a tornado in Jonesboro, you might want to run into this church and pray about it. Maybe you'll be okay. Tell you what, when you live in Arkansas, you have to know in the back of your mind where the tornado places are that you can run for shelter if that happens. Or maybe not everybody thinks the way I do, but I can tell you most of us Arkansans know a place or two that we can quickly dash to in case there's a tornado, because the tornadoes do happen here quite often. And it's just a reality. It's part of life here. It's in our DNA, dealing with tornadoes. That's just what we do. So in through here is the 100-year-old homes. There's some Victorian homes through here, turn-of-the-century homes. Back there at the buffet that I just showed you, that's right off the railroad tracks. That's the old part of town. You know, of course, you got to keep in mind how America was built. And before there were roads, there were railroads. So your city commerce, your commerce sections of all these old towns and cities were based around the railroad. That's how they got goods and services here to these areas. So, you know, I find it to be fun and fascinating all at the same time to drive the older parts of town around the railroad tracks and see what's still left. There's a lot of history down there. Well, we're not hearing anything on the scanner. I mean, it's just dead. So I hope you can appreciate the nice little tour of Jonesboro. We're going to go back this way, go back to the retail district for a few more minutes, and we'll probably call it a night. I got to stop by Walmart. That's about as Arkansas as it gets, isn't it? I got to stop by Walmart because in Walnut Ridge, they don't have a big Walmart. So there are just some things that only Walmart has. We're on Highland right now. I'm going to go back to Red Wolf. We'll monitor the radio for a few more minutes. They're just not saying anything. There's just nothing happening. But you know what? I'll tell you this, though. We don't want, you know, I would rather nothing happen than a bunch of stuff happen. I know it's not good for views, because you probably want to see some action. But it's not a good thing to be encouraging something to be happening. We don't want things to be happening, you know? It's just unfortunate. They're going to happen regardless, whether you want them to or not. I'm not even seeing many Jonesboro police units driving around right now. Usually you see them driving everywhere through here, but that's how you know it's a slow night, because nobody's out driving around. I'd take y'all back home with me to Walnut Ridge, but if there's nothing happening in Jonesboro, there is absolutely nothing happening in Walnut Ridge. I can tell you that. You'll get bored quick. Well, you know, if I didn't operate a Arkansas themed channel, then I probably would go over there to Memphis and show it off.
No one.
But I'm good on that. Oh, Memphis. I hope Memphis over time can get some priorities together and start to get their city back in order for sure, because it's just it's a shame that it's the way that it is right now. I'm a fan of Memphis. I don't want it to sound like I'm talking smack, because actually I'm pulling for Memphis more than anything. I really want Shelby County to get their act together and start doing better. But it's going to take a miracle. I don't know what it's going to take. It's going to take some real action, some real initiative to get that done.
Dispatch 154 and 133.
All right, 2 units. Let's hear where this call's going. No. Well, I thought we were going to hear a call. Are we not? Well, I agree with you there, Blue Collar Builds. I couldn't agree with you more. When you've got a Shelby County prosecutor that is ineffective, then you get what you get. You know, and I'm not a hater on Memphis, because you know why? I'm going to tell you why. I grew up in Little Rock. Okay? I grew up in Little Rock, which is Little Memphis now. Okay? It truly is. It's like the little cousin to Memphis is Little Rock. And I can just tell you right now that, you know, if you lived in Little Rock, it's a lot of the same issues are going on in Little Rock right now as they are in Memphis. Memphis is just way larger as a population. You know, Little Rock's only got 203,000 people, I think was the last census in 2020. I think they said that Little Rock's 202 or 203. But Memphis is like 650, and that's not even the burbs. We're talking just Memphis proper. So if you're talking Germantown, Collierville, and South Haven, Mississippi, and you add and Fraser, you add all that up, it's probably well over 1 million. But just in Memphis city limits, it's 650, which is 3 times the size of Little Rock. So that's why I say Little Rock's like Little Memphis, but they have a lot of the same problems. There's poverty, there's impoverished areas of town, there's retail districts that have died. As a matter of fact, not to talk a bunch about Memphis, but, you know, just recently I was over there. You know, we had mentioned the retail shops, and we had mentioned Macy's earlier. So I went to Macy's around Christmas time and went over to Memphis to check out what they had. And I noticed that there was a mall on the south end of town. I hadn't been there in 20 years, so I went looking for it. It was off of Winchester. I had absolutely no idea what Winchester had turned into because I hadn't been over there in a while. Winchester looked like a third world country, and I'm not trying to knock Memphis again. Anybody that lives on Winchester or that area in Memphis, sorry, I'm not trying to offend you. But, you know, unfortunately, Winchester looks like it looks like a third world country. It's that bad. And I just, I was blown away by how bad it was. The mall that was there is gone. There used to be a Sears over there, gone. I'll tell you what was interesting. They got a Big Daddy's pawn shop, though. That was from the guy that did Big Daddy's, I think, was from Little Rock. And he set up over there and off of Winchester and Memphis. It's amazing how big that place is. But yeah. Third world country, man. And that's just bad. It's bad because we talk about bad areas of town, but that doesn't mean every single person that lives in a bad area of town is bad. You got a lot of older, elderly residents that are law-abiding citizens. They're just trying to survive. And it's just the saddest thing in the world to see an area like that run down in such a way. Truly. And yeah, it used to be a good area, because that's why I say 20 years ago, I remember driving through Winchester when I was in early 20s. I had a girlfriend that went to Christian Brothers University on Parkway, East Parkway South. So I would make frequent road trips from Little Rock to Memphis when I was 18 and 19 and 20 to see her. And we used to drive all around Memphis. And nothing like it is now. I got to step outside and stretch my legs for a second. I'll be right back. Look at some of your comments real quick. Yeah, Germantown's nice. They got the big Kroger over there. I've been to that. The last time I was in Memphis, I went to that Kroger in Germantown. And it's nice. They got every variety of tea you can imagine. I like Earl Grey tea and Constant Comment and several other Bigelow teas, but that particular Kroger has the whole variety of them. I'll tell you right now, you're not going to hear me talking shit. Excuse my language. You're not going to hear me talking smack about Memphis because I grew up in Little Rock. I know I mentioned that. But I'm pulling for you, Memphis. All you folks watching from Tennessee, Shelby County, and otherwise in the burbs around Memphis, I'm pulling for y'all. Hopefully, your new mayor is going to come in there. I hope he's going to do some good work for you. And, I saw that they've got a task force established with federal agents that are working with federal prosecutors for trying to get some of these violent criminals apprehended and charged. And that's really what it's going to take. Again, I'm not... I'll just say, that's what it's going to take. They're going to have to put some Fed charges on some folks. That's just what it's going to take. They got to put some Fed charges on some folks and make the stuff stick. and get them locked up. And it's sad that it is that way, but that's how it is. And when you start doing that, you'll start noticing your numbers coming down. Because right now your numbers are so high, it's scaring people. You're scaring the residents over there. Thank you so much on the compliment about this being the best YouTube channel. You know, I'm my worst critic a lot of times, and sometimes I don't even believe it. Especially like when we're just sitting in a parking lot on live just talking. Like, sometimes I wonder, why are y'all listening to me? Like, why do you want to hear this? But thank you so much. I'm a humble host. I appreciate all your compliments. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your commentary, your original thoughts. Thank you for the respect you show both myself and other members in this chat and our community. I just really appreciate it. I'm humbled. Again, going back to the whole point that we're almost to 100,000 subscribers. I'm about 800 away. So it's been a long, long road. You know what? Half Pint. I've never been to Indianapolis, Indiana. I've had some folks get some bumper stickers recently from there, so I know I've got some Indiana watchers. I've got folks watching this channel from every corner of the world. It's amazing when you look at the statistics when I go into my analytics page and I can see all the different countries that have been tuning in, and really there's not a country that hadn't tuned in at this point except for probably North Korea, literally. And the states, it's amazing to me, besides Arkansans, it's amazing to me how many states tune in, especially southern states. I wouldn't think that other southern states would even want to watch Arkansas stuff. But that's who watches this channel. A lot of Oklahomans and Texans and, you know, Tennesseans, Missouri. You know, it's amazing to me. Oh yeah, Kansas City. I do Kansas City too. So let's talk about old Jacob Bird. I have several people that every week they want to know, where is Bird? Well, the rumor is, I heard this from an officer friend of mine, a Little Rock police officer though, not a state trooper, but a Little Rock officer, a friend of mine, told me that Jacob Bird is out on military leave. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these troopers and officers are also reservists in the Arkansas National Guard. So, you know, from time to time, training, missions, they arise, and sometimes, you know, they have to go on military leave for a while. So I think that's where Bird's at. I haven't heard the word from Bird. That all rhymes. Or anybody, but you know, and I'd love to know, because I'd love to be able to tell folks, you know, I'm sure that he will be back. Just have to give it time. But I don't think he transferred to another department within the state police, and I haven't heard that he left, so I heard that it was military leave. So we'll probably see him before long. But I want to make it clear, though, you know, a lot of times, you know, Bird, in particular, he became almost a celebrity overnight, because he was truly becoming the pit king. I mean, Jesus, every week you saw Jacob Bird doing a pit maneuver. And you know, the infamous black charger, okay, all of that, right? So, I mean, he became a celebrity overnight. I'm not trying to say that's bad. It's just, you know, that let's not forget that there are some other troopers out there that are just as capable as he is of handling pursuits and TBIs or pits, if you want to call them, you know. So I know a lot of people were loving them some Bird, and I get it, but let's just not forget about all the other good ones too now. So this is the store that got robbed yesterday. The Plato's Closet. They got robbed. I think they got robbed at gunpoint. I didn't hear if there was a weapon, but they put it out as a robbery just occurred yesterday. Or it might have been 2 days ago. I think it was 2 days ago. So yeah, this place got robbed, but they didn't. I'm not sure if they caught the people. I didn't hear a follow-up. There's people in the store staring at me like, who are you? I'm gonna get out of here. I didn't realize they were open. Is this live PD? Well, Roderick, it is not live PD per se. It is, we're listening to the scanner and trying to find something to listen to go look at, but the scanner's been just dead because it's Monday night. So now it's not live PD. I'd say it's like live scanner chasing with NST, but there's nothing to go see right now. Yep, I think I'm gonna head on back to the ridge. I think this is a bust for the night. I didn't come out here with any great expectations of finding much action for you to see anyway, because again, I've told you this a few times, it's Monday night. Monday night's the slowest night of the week. You can ask any dispatcher that ever did dispatch work for a police department, and I can tell you Monday night is your lowest night of the week. Starts to pick up on Tuesday, definitely on Wednesday. By Thursday, you've got some clubs that are open on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Now, that's obvious why that would be busy. Sunday night is your not real sure what you're going to get night. That can be busy, it can be dead, or you will have burglaries at night on a Sunday night into Monday. That's a big burglary night. I don't know why. For people doing commercial burglaries. Usually your alarm calls at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday going into Monday, they're going to be good when you get them. That means that somebody did it. But I tell you, on a Monday night's usually the lightest night of the week.
Hey, Tracy and Neely. She said she's not sure which road they're on, but it was one of the roads off of Paragould, north of the flea market. She said she's pretty sure they go right off of Paragould.
Okay, we're gonna creep on down here to the other side of town, and I'm gonna stop by Walmart and probably call it a night. Unless something big happens in the next few minutes. So hey, I'm glad you joined me, thanks. I'll work on getting my video kinks worked out with the dash cam laptop interface, and we'll figure out why that didn't happen. So I'll work on that in the next few days. Remember what I said earlier? We're going to look at Fort Smith. Fort Smith will be next for our live. Probably going to get me a hotel room in Fort Smith. Probably, maybe might be the end of this week. Kind of looking at maybe Saturday or Sunday. Get on over to the fort. Get me a room for the night, Saturday night, and I'll go live. Go see if we can find something happening over there in Sebastian County on the Oklahoma border. I've been seeing some folks comment about Fort Smith at night, talking about it's not safe at night. So that means that if it's not safe at night, and people are saying that, then that means that there might be some stuff to go look at. So please join us tomorrow and check our page for a pursuit tomorrow. It will likely happen in the evening time because I'm going to have to work on it all day long. It's a big boy. This will be one of those hour-long pursuit videos. So please check back with our channel tomorrow. When I get it uploaded, I'll premiere it. I'll try to give everybody a 1 hour notice so that you get 2 notifies. We would love to have you in live chat again for the premiere of that video. However, I'm going to remain silent on what the content is until we can premiere it. So just know that I'm working on a big pursuit video that involves 3 agencies. Actually 4. It involved 4 agencies. 1 just helped out, but they didn't really get involved. So we'll just say 3. So yeah, check back with us tomorrow. And we will hopefully have something interesting for you to watch. Well, I guess we're going to call it a night, guys and gals. The radio's dead and the traffic is, I mean, even the Walmart's not busy. I've come here and the whole parking lot's been filled up before, so it's kind of, there is nothing happening in Jonesboro right now. There's nothing happening in Jonesboro, but that's okay. We'll accept that as a victory. It's better than violent crime happening right now. So, all right. Well, that's all I got. NST is out. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. If you don't mind, before you leave, if you'll just smash that like button if you hadn't already, please give me a like for this. It really helps with the numbers more than you'll ever know. That's why us content creators beg you all the time to like, subscribe, and notify bell and all that other jazz. I'll save you the spill just if you'll hit a like. If you'll hit the like button before you leave, it doesn't cost you a dime. And I would be grateful. All right. Stay safe. God bless. NST is out. Thank you. Have a good night.